This is the Weigh In podcast by Benoit Chestnut and Sebastian Romero. And on this week's Takedown Thursdays, we have Roger Williams University Wrestling head coach John Egan. It is a pleasure to have you on, Coach Egan.
Thank you guys very much. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's get right into the business. How long have you been a coach at Roger Williams University?
I was an assistant for 2 years, and then this is my 13th year as head coach here.
So in your 13th year at head coach, what have you seen in those years is starting to work and what have you found wasn't really working well?
Um, it's funny, when I was in college, I graduated in '05. I think the sport has evolved quite a bit, and the way we've coached has evolved quite a bit. It used to be so that we would just train so hard and just keep training. We'd have 3 hour practices and just beat our bodies up so much that you'd be in great shape, but by the end of the season, your body would be toast, right? You just couldn't do it anymore. And as the years have gone on, I've seen a lot of evolution of training and taking days off and training more intelligently and really focusing on 2 or 3 days a week to go hard and then giving yourself the proper recovery time to kind of be at the way you could compete the highest come March, the most important time, right?
Right. So
What,
we go ahead. Go ahead, Sebastian.
um, I'm Coach Egan. What made you want to be a wrestling coach? What motivated you to be a wrestling coach?
I've always had so much fun in this sport. It's done so much for me when I was a high school kid and I didn't really have a direction in life, and then I went to college and wrestled, and I've always known that this was kind of a great outlet for me and a way for me to focus and something I was good at, and I could felt I could help other people kind of focus their life and point them in a good direction, help kids get jobs and help young men become men. um,
Mhm.
that's kind of always been my passion behind this thing.
That's
So
cool.
in your time now, we saw on Instagram that you guys have now got your own wrestling room. What was the aspect to was the room you guys had before that was shared, I assume? It was a
Yeah,
shared.
so we were in a field house, just the general gym that all students could walk through and use. And when we were practicing, we would have it all reserved and it would be locked off. But I had to roll out mats every day, roll them up and wash them and yell at kids that were trying to play basketball in there. And we never had our own home. So it's been a long time coming. We fundraised a lot of money and we finally have our own space now. It's been phenomenal.
And how's the new room? Audio's probably nice in there, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. We have everything we need. We got the space, we got double mats, we got the stereo system, our own HVAC system. It's I couldn't ask for more. It's great.
A coach's dream, I would assume,
Yes.
right?
Yes, and no more rolling up mats.
I used to do that in middle school, and we always used to hate it.
Yeah, me too.
So another question we had, going through your impactful career, how is it being Johnson Wales University? Correct me if I'm wrong. They're your rivals, correct?
Yeah, we've had a really good rivalry with them over the years. Um, right now they're at the top. They're crushing it. They're doing a really good job. We kind of can't catch them right now, but that dual meet's always a lot of fun between the two of us, and um, look forward to hopefully beating them again in the near future.
Yeah, one of the favorite dual meets that I wasn't there and saw, but it was posted on Instagram was when you wrestled at the theater.
Yeah,
How
the
was that
PPAC,
aspect? Yeah, P-Pack. How was that aspect?
the Providence Performing Arts Center. That was a few years ago. That was such a cool experience for not only us, obviously the kids, the families. It was amazing to be in a theater that can sit 8,000 people or whatever it was. Um and when you walk out on the stage, you're like in this arena, and it's beautiful. um it was amazing. It was a really cool experience. We got to do everything in the back. We got to go in the changing rooms and warm up in our own little space. And then when you walk out of the changing rooms before you get on the stage, they had a big wall of all the famous artists who have ever played there and sang there and performed there. They had everyone sign it. So all the kids on the team got to sign the wall. It was awesome. you're signing the wall right next to where Billy Joel signed the wall. It's really cool. It was really
That's
awesome.
nice. That's nice. So in your time you had one national champ, David Welsh. Um my one question opposed to the national champ was, did you in the beginning of that season or when he came, did you notice that he was going to be a national champ?
Um, that season, yes, I knew that. And it had been 3 to 4 years of everything leading up to that I knew that senior year. When he came in, he was a phenomenal athlete, a big kid, strong kid, had a lot of skill, was pretty raw, and he did a lot of work to improve his wrestling and lifestyle and just doing all the right things. And everything clicked for him his senior year. He had been an All-American as a sophomore. His junior year, we made nationals. He hurt his knee, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. He didn't place at nationals as a junior, and it was devastating. It was horrible, but it refocused him and kind of forced him. We did everything right senior year. I mean, it was a phenomenal run, and I had no doubt that year that he was going to be the national champ.
What's the strategies you use with your team when you burst other opponents?
So a lot of it just comes down to the preparation, and every kid is different, right? So what does that mean, preparation? A lot of kids just we're preparing for the opponent, right? So
Mhm,
I'm wrestling a kid that is really good on top. He's long and lanky. Maybe we're working with that specific 133 pounder on how to defend that. Another
mhm,
kid might be working on, all right, the other kid you're going to wrestle is an All American. We just got
mhm.
to not get pinned. What are some strategies to kind of
Yeah.
make time, just go fast and kind of just get through the match? Or another thing might be the kid has to lose a lot of weight, and we're just really focused
Mhm,
on losing the weight for the week and trying to get off the scale and get them rehydrated back
mhm,
up. So every kid is so different in how they handle kind of the weekend's competition.
mhm. So far, what's your guys' record?
We're 10-3 right now.
Wow, that's good.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So I know you guys used to attend the or still do attend the Netley Invitational. How does it feel to go all the way out to Pennsylvania and scrap against teams that you might not see in your season?
Yeah. I think in the beginning of the season, actually all season, one of our goals is to go to events that all the kids on the team can wrestle in. The whole roster should be wrestling, because how does the worst kid on the team get better if they're never competing? So that's one event that I can bring my whole roster to. Everyone gets to compete in. And I like to do it out in Pennsylvania because no one's in our region. So there's really, you can kind of go out there and wrestle all fresh people. You don't have any, you have, it's not like we go out there and a freshman wrestled this kid in the state finals last year and they're nervous. It's like, no, you don't know any of these kids. Let's just go scrap and see where we're at and see how good we are. And um, I try to get out to Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey as much as we can. That's where most of the kids on the team are from. So it's easier for the parents and the families to come see their kids as well.
So what would you say, all time is your favorite team? Well, not favorite, but a good team that you had in your years of coaching.
The 2016 team, the year that David won, um, was a really special team. We took third at the national duels that year. Um, Geez, I'd have to think about it, but I think 8 of those 10 starters eventually made nationals at some point on that team. And 3 of those kids were eventually All Americans. And a lot of those kids came into college here not having the highest of accolades or the best high school careers. It was a culture thing. The culture was so good, and our top guys were so focused that it kind of brought everyone else up. And even the bottom guys were great kids who wanted to get better. And it just, everything was clicking all year. It was great. We didn't have any injuries. It was a lot of fun that year.
So you say that speaks to having a strong leaders at the top will help those lower wrestlers that might not be able to get the point quite yet, but they have that guidance and nurturement from those leaders.
And vice versa too. I mean, David, our national champ, was, he was a kid who needed a good, a good core of group of guys around him, and we had some really great guys around him. Shane Parcell, Kyle Foster, Danny Wrestler, kids that loved wrestling and did everything right and wanted to just wrestle year round and train. And and then we had other kids like Joe Albina around that group, all similar weights that Joe didn't have the best high school career, but he just worked his ass off when he got to college, and it made him a lot better. And then we had other kids on the team that weren't even great wrestlers, but they were phenomenal leaders, and they kept everyone in line, and they did their homework, and they helped kids with homework. So it wasn't just about like the best wrestler helping the whole team. It was a family of kids, and everyone was helping each other in some fashion. It was really cool. It was awesome.
And what would you say for, wrestlers who might be of the younger age through that middle school, high school years that are not seeing the performance they want to have? What is a piece of advice you would share with them to best put themselves in a good way to set up themselves for success?
Yeah, I think it depends on the age, because I have
Yeah,
kids now, and I'm going through this with my own children. My daughter is 9, my son is 6, and so we're thinking about at what point do we want to get serious about sports. And for my 6-year-old son's interested, and all of elementary school is just fun. Just bring them around the
right.
sport, have fun. We're not competing. We're just having fun and learning, and I want him having smiling every day he comes in and leaves practice. And then I think it has to be the kid's decision on when they want to get real with the sport, whatever the sport is. Mom and dad can't make the kid good at anything. The kid has to decide. And then I think probably middle school is when that usually happens. If a kid really wants to, my son really wants to go all in on wrestling, then that's when I'll step in and say, all right, if you want to get real about this, now we'll train year round. Doesn't mean we're training every day. It means 2 to 3 days a week we're training in the off season doing something with wrestling. But you can't stop. If you want to be great at this sport, you can't wrestle for 3 month season and then stop for 9 months. um, so that's what I would say to elementary school kids. Just have fun, be around the sport year round. And then when you get to middle school, if you really, really want to get good at this sport in 7th or 8th grade, commit to it. Do it year round. Go to a club twice a week. And then you still play your other sports, and you should be a 3-sport athlete, but you always have time to get on the mats twice a week.
So while you've been a head coach over there, have you seen two sport athlete at Roger Williams?
Yeah, one of my a great kid that just graduated, this kid Hunter Goodrow on my team. He's in grad school now. He wants to be a doctor and physician's assistant, and he played lacrosse here and wrestled, and he was one of the best guys on the lacrosse team. He was a leader on that team, and he was a pretty darn good wrestler here. He was above 500 wrestler, and but the difference with Hunter was the day I met him, I knew right away he was an extremely motivated and organized kid, and he had no time for nonsense. And that's why he was able to do it.
So you were able to notice well with with Hunter that he had a good mindset.
Yep. He had a great mindset. It was all the life choices he made that enabled him to be able to um, play sports year round here.
And you would say mindset makes a difference for some athletes.
Oh, yep.
And when you have to make weight for like wrestling, what would you encourage your wrestlers to do to lose weight fast?
Um, Man, as our sports change,
Hmm.
you can't really lose weight like you used to when there was
Hmm.
really not a lot of rules when I was in college. You kind of do whatever you want to lose weight. There's a lot of restrictions in place now for the better. Um, so you can't cut 15 pounds a week like
Yeah.
you used to. I,
Hmm.
I know a lot of kids on my team do the thing where they drink a gallon of water or 2 gallons of water every day. And then they
Hmm.
kind of wean off of that by the time Thursday comes around, and then the water just kind of sheds off for the weekend. Um,
Hmm.
that's probably the most healthy way to do it. That's what I would suggest.
And what would you say is what would you say is your favorite wrestling move of all time?
Me,
Yeah.
I was really good on top with legs. So really anything on top with legs and on my feet, it was a lot of duck unders and dumps and shucks. Duck unders, because everyone, you know why? Because everyone in the crowd goes, "Ooh," when you hit a good,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, when you hit
looks
a good,
fancy, you know.
it's slick.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone does it right, it's so quick they don't even know what happened.
It's pretty. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely, I've hit a few duck unders and I liked it. Duck under is very slick. It's quick. My problem was I was a huge Splato kid. So like I just would be random when like kid shoots in. I was wrestling a match where this kid walked by me, bumped me, said, I'm gonna win this next one. I was in high school, it was summertime, so he shot a bad shot and put his head down. I said, well, that's it. You gave me a chance to hit the Splato. So I hit the Splato and the rest of my teammates were all like, oh, he hit a Splato. And it was just funny because the as soon as he got off, the coach says, if you're gonna shoot a high crotch like that and try to go outside, do not put your head down.
That's right.
You know what this kid's gonna do. I told you before the match, I saw him do it to somebody else 2 rounds before, and now you're doing it. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just thought it was like funny that, sometimes you make the mistakes, but you don't you don't kind of learn from it. And I think that that goes to a lot of I think most levels of wrestling, if you make a mistake, you got to learn from it. I read something on Instagram the other day. Somebody I think it was Yale Street Wrestling that had posted this maybe a couple years ago. I think it's the owner Donnie. Donnie posted, "Oh, if I put my kid down and he gets ridden out, he says he's got to get better on bottom." And I said, "Well, that's right. You put a guy, you put your wrestler down on bottom and he doesn't get out. Maybe the conversation is he's got to get better on bottom."
Absolutely. And Donnie's the best. Shout out to Yale Street. Those guys are the best.
Yeah, I
Good
see them
friend of
post
mine.
good stuff all the time, and some of
Yep.
the stuff is like, a lot of the things we see is like when we see wrestlers post stuff, we see moves. Most people don't think about it, but I think about it where I'm like, I see that and I'm like, you know, somebody can learn from this. A lot
Yes.
of those D1 guys, one nationals, I saw a New Jersey kid, Robert Howard, wrestled when Lee Councilman in the first round, got 2 sets of back points, something like that, and was up. And Malik could never come back from it, and he upset him.
Yep.
It makes the difference when if the points are there and you can get them, get them. Don't leave them. I always leave it to card games like that. You never leave the cards on the table. If it's
Yep.
there and you can use it, turn them because sometimes when it's late match and you need one, you don't want to say to yourself, I didn't get those points.
Yep.
You'd rather say, I did get those points and now I beat this kid because I got those points. And it's one of the things. So another question we have is how is college wrestling with all the new rule changes? I know they made rule change. I don't know if it's just D1 or if it's all of wrestling, but they made a rule change to the back points. Now I think every swipe but one is a point, and there's new rules on if they implemented on the riding time points. Have you seen not a difficulty, but a level of where change into the way the wrestling styles are going now with all these new rules implemented?
Yeah, the biggest one is probably the 3-point takedown. The back points are similar. There's a couple changes with swipes, like you said, but the biggest one is the 3-point takedown. It changes the course of a match. Whereas in the past, if you get your takedown, the kid escapes, it's really only a 1-point takedown. If you get a quick takedown and he escapes real quick, right? It's 2-1.
Right.
So whereas now it's he takes someone down, they escape, it's 3-1. It's a big difference. Um and now it's kind of we'll see. People are kind of changing their styles of wrestling. It really makes neutral wrestling a lot more important. That a lot more takedowns are happening, and it's great. I think it's good for the sport. People are scoring more points. People are stalling less because they have to score. So it's been a good thing so far.
So with Roger Williams University, you guys are out in Rhode Island, just so I correct
Yep.
me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Have you seen a lot of the community of where you guys are surrounding? I know, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong again. Roger Williams is on the university itself is on the island or something like that to the bridge. Um, have you seen a lot of like the community coming to, the matches and a lot of them like the littler kids or like, middle school or like have you seen a lot of the community engage with, a lot of you guys' matches or even with
Yeah,
the rivalry?
we're in a unique, cool position. We're on a peninsula here,
Okay.
in Rhode Island, and um, yeah, the answer is yes. A lot of the community, Mount Hope, the local high school in Bristol, they have a good program. They have a ton of kids on the team. One of our assistants used to be the head coach there. One of our old assistants is a teacher in the school system there, so we do have a great relationship with that program. And they come out to matches, they come to camp, and it's been it's great. Yes, a lot of people do come out. It's great.
So in your time of recruiting Jersey kids, kids from Pennsylvania, recruiting kids all over, do you go to a lot of those wrestling clubs to see
Yeah,
some talent?
so the hard thing is that our season's the same time, obviously, as the high school season. So every high school kid in the world wants us to go out and visit them, but we compete the same day, dude. It's hard. So we always try to go out around Christmas break to see kids. So we do a big trip through New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. We go out to Long Island, we go up in Massachusetts to a few places. So that's kind of our 1 week where all those holiday tournaments are to kind of get out and see everyone. Um, and then, at some point in the summer or off season, we'll try to make a round to go to a bunch of clubs in the area. Again, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all through Massachusetts, New Hampshire. And then we have a big summer camp that we kind of invite all those kids come to in the summer. So we try to get out once or twice a year to see everybody and then have everyone come to see us at camp.
Right. So I know that you guys had a match overseas, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong again. It was in London. How was that aspect of having a match overseas and being able to transition from normally competing folk style to, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a freestyle match.
Yeah,
So
so we go ahead, sorry.
no, you can go ahead.
So we every 4 years we take a big trip over to Europe as a team. And where do we go this summer? Edinburgh, Scotland, Manchester, England, and London, England. And we spent 12 days in those three major cities and did a ton of sightseeing. We practiced for a couple days and we competed over there as well. And yes, it was freestyle, so it's a bit different than what we're used to, but similar. You get takedowns, right? So it was a lot of fun. It was great. It was great for the guys in the off season to kind of continue training and do a little something different and do it in a different country with a different set of fans and rules. And the guys we competed against were a really great group, and they all bonded. And we went out at night with them and hung out. So it was awesome. The guys will remember that forever.
Do you think that's good for a team to kind of sometimes do a little bit of these other type of matches, like similar to that, to kind of help the mental state of some of the wrestlers that they're embarking on something new?
Well, I think it's just the commitment to continue training, and we went in May, so our season ends in March, so it had to be a commitment to continue to train for 2 or 3 months. And it's that's great. Whenever you decide to commit to something for the better, that's always a good thing. And then it's freestyle, so we had fun with it. It's just a little different. At the end of the day, the matches over there don't matter, so it was fun. It was something we had fun with.
So it's like going back to like you said with the little kids, to try to have
Have
fun.
fun.
Going out there, it's
Yes.
having fun doing those overseas
Yep.
wrestling matches. So do you have a favorite Division One wrestler?
Ooh, I like the kid Keegan O'Toole. He's fun to watch. Um, he's probably my number one dude right now. I mean, I love what Penn State's doing overall. They're rocking. They're scoring a lot of points. It looks like they're having a lot of fun what they're doing. Um, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Penn State looks like they are having a lot of fun. I mean, it's always fun at the top. It is always, being that they've been on top for quite some time. It's always fun to be on top. So, with you guys in your conference, who's in your conference?
So our region is the Northeast region. So
Okay.
it's basically every school in New England. So Roger Williams, Johnson and Wales, we mentioned Coast Guard Academy, Springfield, Wesleyan, Williams College, Western New England. It's all the schools in New England that have wrestling. There's 16 of us. And then the New York City school. So NYU is in our region. Merchant Marine Academy, Hunter College. So there's 19 to 20 teams in our region.
Okay. So with being a good successful season, you're expecting to see a couple national qualifiers.
I hope so. Yeah, we have two or three kids in the mix that I think have a legit shot to get out and qualify for the national tournament. It's always the goal. Let's get out to nationals and then reassess after the regional tournament. But the regional tournament's a meat grinder, dude. It's hard. It's hard to get out of the region. There's 20 kids in the bracket. Everybody's good. There's a lot of good teams in our region. So we're kind of just focused on that right now. It's about 4 weeks away.
So where is nationals this year for Division 3?
That's a good question. I was just looking at that yesterday. I forget. Let me pull it up right now. I'll tell you exactly where it is. I want to say it's in Iowa. I believe it's in Iowa. It's usually in some place that we've never been to in our life. Let me see. We are heading to it's Wisconsin lacrosse this year.
Ah, that should be a nice trip.
Wisconsin lacrosse. Yep, the where lacrosse was invented. It's pretty cool. They have statues all over the whole city about the Indians playing lacrosse. It's pretty cool.
That's great. Well, it was nice getting to know you on today's episode, and we wish you guys the best of luck moving forward in your season.
I love it. I really appreciate it. Sebastian's been smiling the whole time. I like that dude. And I need one of these shirts. I like that. Yeah.
We call it the
Send me
Weigh In
one of those.
Podcast. Yeah,
Send me a large one of those if you got an extra one anytime.
yeah.
Yeah. And then also before we do get off with you, um, Coach Egan, for anybody who wants to wrestle,
Yeah.
what would you tell them?
Like in college?
Yes, in college, yes.
Yeah. I always tell kids, like, I don't cut kids. We have an
Mhm,
open door policy. Anyone who wants to be part of it, you can come be part of it. But
mhm,
there's a 3-tier system. You either have to be really good at the sport, you have
mhm.
to be really good in school, or you have to be a phenomenal leader or person or something like that. You,
Uh-huh.
you can't be someone who's bad at wrestling, who sucks in school, and who makes bad decisions. I don't
Yeah.
want anyone like that on my team.
Mhm,
So it's as long as you have something to offer, and if you're working hard, I'd love to have kids on my team. And I've had some phenomenal kids that will never win a match in college. You'll go 0-80 in 4 years. But they've left their mark on the program. They've done great things. They've been great leaders, great students, and they help kids get jobs and internships after they graduate. So I think, the biggest part is talk to the coach of whatever college the kid's interested in, and make sure it fits for them and they have a home on that team.
And when is your next wrestling match?
Oh, geez, we're at Rhode Island College on Friday night.
All right, you might catch us there.
That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
You're welcome, Coach. Again, have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Coach.
Bye.